Hi all, this is Dr. J at 11, streaming to you live, coming to you live from Long Island, New York, where the weather is absolutely beautiful. Another day in the high 60s, maybe hit 70 today. Believe it or not, I have plans to go fishing. Me fishing. I don't think I've ever fished in my life. All right, in any event, I'm going fishing later today, along with all the rest of the Geron longs. We're fishing for good information that will be offered to us by John Scarlet in the conference call following earnings. Now, earnings mean zilch. In the biotech world, earnings generally are a non-event. What does matter is the conference call, especially the conference call on the same day that the ASH abstracts were released. Now, I know there's an article on Seeking Alpha that is extremely well written, and my congratulations to the first-time author of that article on the fine job he did in relaying the history of Geron from the partnership with Janssen till today, and the options that Geron may have going forward. And some of them are very interesting that he put forward, angles that I've thought about but haven't verbalized. It's easier to put pen to paper sometimes than to just shoot your mouth off and cover all the same points. And I'm going to try shooting my mouth off and covering some of those points and maybe some others. So we have better than expected results on the data. That I'm almost sure of, considering expectations have been so low due to the fact that Janssen walked. Janssen walked, therefore the data is no good. Well, maybe not. Maybe Janssen walked because they have competing drugs in the pipeline. Maybe Janssen walked to save $64 million payment to Geron. Maybe Janssen walked because it didn't want to invest tons more money in looking for combo treatments with imetelstat and fill in the blank. I mean, there are some legitimate reasons why Janssen could have walked other than the data. Now, the trial itself in MF, I think, was constructed very poorly. I'm not a scientist. I'm certainly not a doctor of medicine. So I cannot say for sure, but I do know that there were about 4 complete responses and 4 partial responses at Mayo Clinic to the MF trial. And yet at the last juncture, when we heard from Scarlet after the Janssen walked, he said there were no PRs and CRs in this study for MF. And the reason, obviously, is the study was designed differently. The criteria is different than the criteria was for the Mayo Clinic. I'm not sure exactly how it was different, but it had to be. That's the only explanation for getting such remarkably different results. I think, for one thing, the Janssen trial only took very sick patients that were off of the Incyte drug, the JAK inhibitor, and basically dying and seeking to go on imetelstat to keep them alive a bit longer. And imetelstat has achieved that. Median outstanding survival is much greater than for those in the same situation that did not go on imetelstat. So having said that, that's a tremendous plus. And I think it could be built upon for an FDA submission, as is, that alone. I mean, throw out all the other symptoms. I mean, maybe your spleen didn't shrink or whatever, but you're alive where you would have been dead. Maybe years gone by and you're still alive, whereas you would have been dead 2 years earlier. That, to me, is very significant. So, again, I'm not a scientist. Maybe spleen size is very important with MF. So in any event, I think a redesign of the trial might be one way to go, to have it mimic the Mayo Clinic design, or continue the way it is and apply for FDA approval right away based on median overall survival. So that's my naive look at the clinical data, which I have, of course, haven't even seen or heard in detail because it's a secret. It was kept secret because of the ASH embargo until the abstracts are made public. Well, today the abstracts were made public. We got a hint of the data, and it seems very, very good, especially for MDS. So MDS is $1 billion drug in and of itself. So Geron, if they go take it alone, it would be very rewarding to Geron shareholders, or use it as a carrot to dangle before big companies such as AbbVie, which was mentioned by our essay article writer. But if not AbbVie, how about an old friend, Roche? I believe back in '99, we had a collaboration with Roche to develop, I'm not sure what, and my memory isn't that great, but I think had to do with telomerase or maybe stem cells at that time. But Roche is a big player, and also they have a unit in subsidiary in Japan, Chugai, and the Japanese PMDA, I think the FDA analog, is much friendlier than the FDA towards approvals. So we might gain a quick approval by shifting over to Japan. And that's another thing that I look for in tonight's conference call, a hint at a new partner. I don't think John Scarlet really wants to take it alone, but will if his back is against the wall. Now, as far as conspiracies goes, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't believe in the Illuminati. I don't believe that our government took down the World Trade Center. I don't believe that the CIA killed John F. Kennedy. I don't believe any of those they type things. But when it comes to a comment that was made in today's essay article, I don't remember who commented, but the comment said that Metelstat is potential disruptive technology and can put out of business all the chemotherapy drugs and all the other cancer drugs combined, or something to that effect. And the they in this case would be Big Pharma. Big Pharma has millions and millions invested, billions invested in oncology drugs. If Geron could do the trick, I'm not saying it could, then certainly there would be some motivation not to develop it. Maybe. I don't know, probably not. But that thought, you can't help but have that thought enter your brain a little bit. Big Pharma is big business and wants to make money. So if you have a cure that doesn't cost much and you can't make much, maybe sit on it. That would be pretty evil, I know. But, anything is possible when it comes to business. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to put that thought out of my head. It's too evil a thought to even contemplate. I'm going to scratch that one off my list. But I'm glad I said it, because it's kind of like venting something that I've heard said many times, and it bothers me. But every so often it enters my brain, so I thought I'd bring it up. So what can we expect from tonight's conference call by John Scarlet? Okay. There will be a talk about financials, how much it'll cost to take it alone. And also, I strongly believe there'll be a hint at a partner or negotiations with several potential partners going on right now. I think he can say that. He can talk about potential partners. So I don't think there would be any reason why there would be a silence on that. There may still be some silence as to the exact nature of the data due to ASH restrictions, even though the embargo is lifted on anything that's written in the abstracts. What's not in the abstract, I don't know. That's another story. So we're going to hear tonight from John Scarlet. I'm eagerly awaiting what he has to say. I think in view of the ASH abstracts that I saw this morning, I am thinking we will get a very positive conference call, an unusual event from Geron. But here's looking forward to tonight. I will try to come back to you after the conference call. Adios, amigos. Have a great day. Oh, by the way, do your own due diligence. And my opinions are strictly my own. And please subscribe to this video, to this channel. Bye-bye.